evening. The time is 6:30, and this is a work session for the School City of East Chicago located at the Administration Building, 1401 East 144th Street, East Chicago, Indiana. This is a meeting of the school board for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. We have a couple things on our agenda. The first thing on this evening's agenda, or this evening's work session, is a presentation from the prosecuting attorney's office, the prosecutor's office.
Hello, good evening. I'm here this evening on behalf of Ms. Gutierrez, who was unable to make it. We are proposing a formal partnership between the School City of East Chicago and the Lake County Prosecutor's Office in support of their Gun Safety Service Initiative. The program is designed to educate our younger students on the importance of gun safety through age-appropriate curriculum. We're proposing a pilot program at Harrison with our third grade students with a goal of initiating the program at all 4 elementary schools, grades K through 3. The goals of the program are to educate students on the importance of gun safety, to equip our students with the knowledge to make safe choices if they should encounter a gun, and to foster a culture of safety and responsibility among our youngest learners. The plan includes, of course, sending a permission slip home with students, explaining the program's objectives, and providing resources for parents to have discussions at home. Parents will have the option to opt out of the program for their student if they choose. Additionally, there will be information sent home for parents regarding where they can acquire gun safety locks if they do have a firearm in the home. So this evening we do have with us Bernard Carter, the prosecutor for Lake County, and Myrna Maldonado that can answer any questions that you have in regard to the program.
You know, I can add to that also.
Here's the microphone.
Ask questions of me at any point you want.
Mr. Carter.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. You know, the reason and the reason for this initiative is in my office just a year and a half ago, from an 18-month standpoint, we had 6 young people under the age of 8 killed themselves with handguns, the youngest being 3. One of the 3-year-olds in another case shot and killed the 4-year-old sibling. And that concerns me anytime I see a case like that, because certainly we normally charge some type of reckless charge against the parents or the guardians or whoever was in charge of those young people, because you can't hold a 4-year-old or 8-year-old responsible for that kind of conduct. So it's important for families and individuals to understand that. We have an initiative throughout the Lake County where we're giving gun locks as well as QR code to demonstrate how to install one of these here and the importance of it. It's more of an educational initiative than how many gun locks we put out there, because we need people to understand they need to secure these weapons, and some of our young children are dying because of a lack of being secured. And as prosecutor, I review these cases myself and one of my top attorneys, Bart McConnell, and I take no joy, believe me, in charging a parent or parents with killing their kid. But I have no hesitation in doing so and have no hesitation in asking for jail time. Because the state of Indiana, when something like that happens, when the state of Indiana represents that lost child, we don't represent the parent. We represent the victim who died and the concerns for the victim who died. So we look at it very harshly, and a lot of people have difficulty saying, well, how can you go after a parent so severely as they lost their child? Well, they lost their child because of the actions by them, and that's a neglect, and that's certainly a reckless conduct. So with that in mind, I'm thinking, well, the Lake County Prosecutor's Office, along with Mike Brown, who's the county clerk, we came together and said, let's try to prevent some of these things. Let's try to educate the public so your office won't be put in that situation where you have to charge a person for killing their own child. And that's what, I use that term, that's what's going on. And so we came up with this initiative, and then Myrna talked to me, and we kind of expanded it through the schools at an early age, because if kids are dying at 6 years old, then certainly, you know, that's what, first grade. So certainly in second grade, third grade, and fourth grade, they're around some homes that have guns. And we don't like to think of that. We think most people should put their gun in a safe or lock it up and secure it. I talk to many police officers, and they have a routine when they get home what they do with their service revolver. And that's what parents who ever carry a gun should do the same. Now with Indiana installing and basically changing the law and says anyone can carry a gun without license, without training or anything, we have more and more of our young people, 21 and up, carrying a handgun and don't know how to handle them and don't know the safety aspects of it. So that's why we're out and we're doing Gary, we're doing Maryville. We want to touch everyone low. We want to touch everyone in our county, not just East Chicago, Gary or Hammond, East Chicago, or Maryville, but we want to touch every community in the county to some extent to try to correct what is going on in such a tragedy. So that's why I'm here asking for that. Myrna can kind of explain specifically what the program looks like in the school level. And if you have any questions of me now or any of us at this point, but Myrna can go through the specifics real quick with you, because we know your time is limited, so we will be short.
So we can have a brief overview on the school aspect side.
Thank you.
Sure, absolutely. Well, really quickly, just to piggyback off what Mr. Carter mentioned, when we give out these gun locks, we're not sure that they're being used. And so having that idea and understanding that, we decided, well, let's go into the schools. And we thought if we could teach something that is kid-friendly, yet gets the message out there, please don't touch a gun, we thought that might work. And so we came to East Chicago, and thankfully, they are in agreement with us as well. The packet, you have a packet in front of you, I hope?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. And in there, you'll find a letter to the parents from Mr. Carter and Mike Brown explaining what the program is. There's a permission slip. There's also a section where Mr. Carter mentioned about the gun locks. So if any of the parents want gun locks, once they understand this is going on, they can always contact our office and we can work with the East Chicago Police Department to get those gun locks out to parents as well. There's a QR code that basically has a few videos on here, one of which is a video on how to use the gun lock. And there's two other videos talking about kind of rounding up what Mr. Carter said in terms of the urgency of having gun locks.
And that's going to be for the parents?
Yes, that's all
Okay.
for the parents, yeah. There's a proposal in here that kind of briefly explains what the program is. There's also a lesson plan, but I want to direct your attention to the actual PowerPoint that'll be attached to what I think in this case might be social workers that'll be teaching this. The social workers will be teaching this. And this is a very kid-friendly. We created a character called Careful Carter, and he basically speaks to the kiddos, explaining to them what guns are, they're not safe, don't touch them. It goes through a model called SAFE, which talks about stop, avoid touching, find an adult, exit the area. So it just kind of goes through this. What I wanted to make sure that was included in this were examples of real life situations that could happen to kids. And so there's an example, there's a scenario, there's 3 of these. Then after the scenario, there is a list of questions, right? Interactive, basically. Why did this person do this? How would you do this differently? If you were in this situation, what would you do? So it's interactive so that the social worker in this case and the students can engage in dialogue, okay? There's a critical thinking area attached to this as well. As I mentioned, there are 3 examples. And then this slide. And this is one of the students that Mr. Carter was talking about. This is little Eric Coles. His mom dropped him off at the babysitter's house and didn't think to ask the babysitter, do you have a gun on the premises? She went to work, and the little boy found the gun and shot himself. And so Mrs. Coles has been a part of our initiative when it came to getting out this gun locks, and she'll also be a part of this initiative when it comes to talking to children as well. And so this is basically what we're looking at. I spent a lot of time trying to make sure that this presentation, this message to the children is not to say that guns are bad, it's just please, if you see one, stay away from them. And that's the essence of the of the educational piece for the kiddos. So if you have any questions, oh, one more thing, I'm sorry. There's a pledge. So the students will say a pledge, sign the pledge, hopefully put these out in the hallways of the school, which will be something that they can look at and be reminded of. Our hope is that every quarter, this lesson can be taught and different scenarios will be provided, but basically the same message, stay away from guns using the SAFE method. Okay, thank you for your time. Any
Thank you.
questions or?
Mr. President,
Yes.
just a couple questions. One is there an opportunity, I may have missed it, to have this translated in Spanish?
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah, that's a very good suggestion.
absolutely.
Yes.
And the other question I had was for Attorney Prosecutor Carter. Just so we don't have any, just so that we're in alignment, I guess it's better stated. Have you communicated this with the East Chicago Police?
With the East Chicago Police?
Yes.
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Yeah, very much so. And we're going to include them in everything that we do, as well as the clerk's office. So yeah, those are kind of like our three partners there.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just want to ask a quick, go ahead. But the parents will be present at these presentations?
No, they won't be present, but they will be informed earlier that these meetings will take place. If they have an objection, they can withdraw their student from it. But they won't be present. But certainly, I will meet with any parent who wishes to talk about this program or how we can better it or suggestions that they may have. But it's mainly for the children and it will be for the schools to do. We won't be present either to present this. It's presented by the school system. So is the social workers?
The
or-
social worker will be presenting at the schools.
Social worker?
Yes, and so we did have some conversation prior to this. Obviously, the proposal was brought to a team of us, including Ms. Gutierrez and myself. Mr. Chavarria was invited, and Mr. Howard was also involved and invited. One of those questions was mine, right? What if the parents want to learn more about it? We do have other programs that come in. We talk about good touches and bad touches. We talk about vaping. We talk about all of these things, and parents are always welcome to come in and ask
Okay.
questions. If a parent wants to attend, I don't think that would be a problem as long as they've gone through the volunteer process. I don't want to speak for all buildings, but at Harrison, it wouldn't be an issue for me. But when we did speak previously to this, the prosecutor's office did say, yes, they will come out and talk to parents if they want to meet prior to the presentation that's given to the students. So any information that they have, they can get questions answered ahead of time.
Yeah, I think that would be something to think about in the future. Even though we're educating the children,
But not
some
the
parents have no idea.
Yes.
And like you said, Mr.
Parent.
Prosecutor, that
Prosecuting the parents,
they
but
leave
they
the
don't know.
guns around, they don't see them, or they don't think it's important to put it, or it just slips their mind.
Exactly.
That they have a child in the house and they have a gun laying around. And so that would be something to think about, to educate also not only just the children, but the parents and the
Absolutely.
repercussions of having that weapon not locked away or put away out of a child's reach.
Absolutely.
I, for one, well, you know my business, right? So I, for one, I hate to see that.
Yes.
And I've seen it happen so many times because of carelessness and not because the parent wanted that to happen, but they were unaware and really uneducated to, they just put it down.
Yes.
Or someone in their homes just put it down. And then that's how the child gets it. So sometimes, parents need to be educated. And even myself, I'm going to be honest with you, myself, I'm not saying I carry a weapon, but I'm saying this. They're in my home,
Yes.
and I'm not aware that my grandkids are there. And it's in my bedroom or wherever. I'm not going to tell you where it's at, but it's there. But, you don't think about you're in one room and they're in another room, and
Absolutely.
kids do snoop,
Yep.
and they do wander around. So just to think about something like that. Parents could be like educated to, what if, and if you need me to help you any kind of way that I can because of the business that I'm in,
Yes.
letting you see, letting them be informed of the consequences of having a gun, other than just saying, it happened, but it affects not only just it affects the family itself, the victim and the person, and the person that, had the gun. So
Absolutely.
just kind of like give you a little idea.
Yeah, no, that would be very helpful, because, we're not only doing this initiative with the school system, but we're with the Ministerial Alliance,
Yeah.
and that's every church basically in Lake County, and we have meetings bi-monthly discussing these issues, and they're on the leading edge of educating their parishioners and getting out our gun locks. So we're doing that initiative. We're working with all the police departments. We're saying we will furnish the gun locks. If you can't afford it, you don't have a line item for it, we'll pay for it. And we get it from people who donate money to this organization to put those out there. So we have an unlimited, I would say, supply of gun locks. And when we run out of that, we'll get additional ones. So we're trying to hand them out to every entity so we can reach more people.
Appreciate that.
Great. Are there any other questions?
Mr. President?
Yes.
I do have one. And with regards to Diane's statement, I'll make sure to call before I knock on your door, knowing that you have me. But I just want to say that, what about the stores that do sell the guns? Have you reached?
Well, they've been good with providing gun locks to us. That's one of the things they have been. And another thing too, by statute, Indiana law, if you sell a new gun from a gun shop, they have to give you a gun lock.
Okay.
And have to, and we have a QR code that you can use. We have a very experienced individual who demonstrates how to put the lock on the gun, on a rifle, on an automatic, on a revolver. So you really learn a lot. And then the main purpose of that QR and going to that site, it gives you information, so it educates you on gun safety. And that's what a message we're trying to deliver. Because we have a lot of people, in some of the cases I can see in my mind that I've done, where an uncle comes over and he's been drinking. He lays the gun on the cocktail table and he lays on the couch and knocked out. This young kid, 3 years old, woke up early that morning. His sister was making him some cereal. So she was in the kitchen. She's like 8 years old. And she was in the kitchen making some cereal. Mom was at work. This 3-year-old goes over and grabs the gun off the table, shoots and kills himself. She says she heard a pop, sound like a gun or a firecracker or something. She ran in and hit a bullet straight through his head, out the back of his head. The bullet hole from the front, and Diane, you know this, the bullet hole from the front was smaller than the one from the back. You almost could put your fist in. It just blew his head out, and that's sad. And that was an uncle coming over. The mother didn't know he was coming over that night, and certainly didn't know he was drunk when he came over, and that he was going to lay a gun on the table.
I appreciate the QR code, because I also have 2 firearms. And,
Okay, yes,
just always good to have refresher courses.
absolutely, yeah. And you're, yeah,
It's been a while since I've had one, since
Yes.
I was a bailiff.
Yes.
We used to do it in the sheriff department, but having a QR code, I can go back and look at that, so I appreciate that.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, we appreciate any consideration you can give to this initiative, as well as we thank you for allowing us to come tonight and present this to you, and we will keep doing it throughout Lake County. So it just won't be, it's not just East Chicago, it's throughout Lake County. So we would like for you guys to be part of it if you can.
Yes.
I think any future programs that we have here in the district, we'll make sure to invite you as well, to possibly set up a concession to speak with our parents as
Well, I
well.
appreciate that, Joe. Thank you very much.
And did you all bring us our gun locks?
If you have one, you can have, and you can have that one, and we can bring, and get your number, we can provide them to you. Myrna has them.
Yes,
She can get them.
Oh, I
Absolutely.
need 5.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, well, thank
Yeah.
you again.
And you may want, if those of you who have places of business, you could get a handful from us and just put them there and provide them. We will do that. We'll have them delivered when our investigators will deliver it. It
Thank
won't be
you.
Myrna.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, so was this have to be any type of board action on
It's on
Diaz?
Tuesday's
It's on the
meeting?
agenda?
Yeah,
It's on the agenda?
It's on
Okay, cool.
Tuesday's meeting as a
Yeah.
new,
Okay. Thank you.
New,
right now it's currently 7.05.
7.05.
I need to get this.
Okay. Oh, United Way.
Thank you.
You have an extra QR code? Yes. Do you have an extra one?
Padilla.
An extra QR code?
The QR code is right on here. Right here, over there. Oh, yeah, we redesigned that so it'd be easier.
Thank you so much.
No, I
see it.
attend to you. Yes, we'll be good for you, especially in this building.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Lourdes. I know Vernon. Yeah.
No, I've never met him.
Okay.
We handed out probably 50 at that church.
One of my colleagues.
Lourdes Swing. Nice to meet you.
Great presentation. Great presentation. No. Thank God.
Thank you. Good night.
I think we're about to start, or do you need? Right. No.
Yes.
All right.
Photos one.
The next thing on our agenda is we have a presentation from United Way.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, guys.
Evening.
First, I'd like to thank you for inviting us to address you this evening. We are United Way, Northwest Indiana. Just a bit of history, because most of us know that United Way in the past was Lake Area United Way and Porter County United Way. 2 years ago, in 2021, we merged and we formed one United Way, and we're Northwest Indiana. Now, other than just having, and you knew where the Lake County United Way office was. It was on Ridge Road. Klein Avenue, Ridge Road, okay. And the other, Porter County United Way was in Valparaiso. Once we merged, we took on the, they shut the office down in Griffith, and our office now is at the Valpo office. But we're servicing Lake County, Porter County, Jasper, Newton, and Knox, and Stark County. Before I go any further, you met Sean Steele, who's our community liaison. We also have Ms. Courtney Wedrick, who's our Level Up client recruiter and assistant program director. And we have Ms. Lourdes Swift, who East Chicago resident and development?
Development specialist.
Development specialist. Thank you. Our titles change so often. I'll make sure we get you right. What we're here to share with the East Chicago community a program that we feel will assist in breaking the cycle of poverty for not only East Chicago, but for all of Northwest Indiana. In Northwest Indiana, all the counties that I mentioned, 1 in 3 households are working and still can't afford basic needs such as child care, housing, food, health care, etc. Our program, Level Up, is a tool that our community can use as a resource to overcome these barriers. Now, Level Up, there's requirements to be eligible to participate in the program. And Sean passed out the folder, and I'm going to refer to page 2. And I'm going to allow Ms. Courtney Wedrick to take it from here and share more information. Okay?
Good evening, and thank you again for having us. My name is Courtney Wedrick. I'm the Community Impact and Level Up Assistant Director. As Pete mentioned, it was close. So in front of you, you have our Level Up Ambassador Kit. So this is a tool that we utilize for agencies that we partner with in order to get the word out about our program. So a little bit more about Level Up is we work with the ALICE community, if you're familiar with that term. It's coined by many United Ways. That's what is asset limited, income constrained, but employed. So these are the families that are working 1, 2, maybe even 3 jobs, working hard, but still not able to make ends meet. So with our program, we assist them with not only finding a navigator that they work one-on-one with, but we also provide them with a job training or a job certification of their choice. That way they can qualify for a better paying job and kind of break that cycle of poverty as Pete mentioned. So again, our clients are working 1 to 2 jobs, still not making ends meet because they don't qualify for any other assistances. They make too much in order to qualify for any government assistances. That could be as little as a penny or $1,000 over that threshold. So with our program, we're able to help that community that is right above that poverty threshold in order to get them out of that cycle of not being able to make those ends meet. So our clients work one-on-one with their navigator and their financial counselor. They'll check in with their navigator on a weekly basis, kind of check in with them, see how they're doing at work, see how they're doing in school, kind of being that emotional support through the program because our clients are people that could do this. They just kind of need that push in order to do it and have that want to do better and get out of that cycle. So they work one-on-one with their navigator and they also have a financial counselor. So with their financial counselor, you're gonna sit down, we're gonna take a look at your budget. We don't care what you spend your money on. We just need to know what you're spending your money on so that we can help you get to a better place with that, with your finances. So we'll sit down, do a budget, go over your credit report, which is a very scary thing for some people. Some people are too scared because they don't want to know that number. And some people are pleasantly surprised when they see what their credit score is. So we'll review that, see if there's any discrepancies, see if there's anything we need to get taken off in order to improve that credit score as well. So the navigators or the clients are working simultaneously with their navigator and their financial counselor. We do require them to complete 90 days of financial wellness, so that meeting with their financial counselor, 14 online Money Smart modules in order to up their financial education before they can even enroll into a training. So we have them put in some legwork, get that financial education. Once they complete that, we allow them to enroll into their training. So while they're working with their navigator is asking them, what is your dream job? Because they haven't been able to dream. They've just been trying to put food on the table, a roof over the head. So they're finally able to dream a little bit and kind of see what it is you're interested in. Oh, I think the medical field's for me, but I don't know. Okay, well, there's these different trainings in the medical field. We could get you started, see if it's right for you. So once they complete the financial wellness, we'll enroll them into that training. If they need any additional assistance while they're in their program, like childcare, we'll cover their childcare costs while they're in the program. Any other barrier assistances, if they're short 1 month on rent because they didn't stick to the budget, we can provide that assistance to them as well, amongst other resources that they may not even be aware of. So with their navigator and their financial counselor, they kind of have that team that's moving them out of that ALICE threshold and to thrive in our community. So a little bit about the eligibility that Pete referred to, I think it's page 2. A Northwest Indiana resident, so residing in one of those counties that we mentioned. 18 years or older with a valid driver's license, reliable transportation. That is a requirement at the beginning, but again, since we provide barrier assistance, if something happens to your car while you're in the program, we would be able to assist with that car repair. So in addition to that, they must be working at least 30 hours a week in order to qualify because we're trying to get them to work a better paying job so they don't have to work as hard. So 30 hours a week at least to qualify for the program within that ALICE threshold. And so with Level Up, in addition to Level Up, we have received 2 grants that we're going to get started implementing, and those are specifically for East Chicago residents. So we have a new CEO coming on board in January of 2025. So once he's on board, we're going to roll out those programs. So we do have an abundance of funding specifically for East Chicago, and so with your support, we hope we're going to be able to assist as many families as possible in East Chicago. We currently have 12 families that are actively on our caseload and 28 that have graduated just from East Chicago alone. We currently have over 200 clients actively enrolled in the program and over 200 that have graduated. So I'll let Lourdes take it over for a little bit, and then I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Good evening, you guys. Thank you for having us again. My name is Lourdes Swift, and I am the Development Specialist for the United Way. And I'm going to share a little bit about myself. Back in 2019, before the United Ways merged together, they went out into the community and they asked to see what they can do to help the community out. They were asking what was needed. So myself with my husband, we were able to be a part of the pilot program that started up Level Up. Assisting the United Way with that pilot program, I had to come to some real harsh realizations because I had lost my job, wasn't working, didn't know what to do, but I was 45 and had a literacy issue. I had the reading level of a 4th grader. And I had to be real with myself and be real with the people I was working with at the United Way. And they were able to help me with my literacy issues. They got me into a program where I overcame that. Now, went ahead and got my medical billing coding license. My husband started a business, and come full circle, I'm so passionate about the program now I'm actually working for the United Way. I speak about the United Way as much as I can to anybody and everyone that will listen because I know how it helped me, and I know how it could help somebody else. They are truly, what you see is what you get. And as long as you're open and honest with them and you put in the work, you put in that sweat equity, they're going to help you. They're not going to let you fall to the wayside, because there was plenty of times that I wanted to give up and not do this because just being embarrassed. Being embarrassed of having that literacy issue was my main issue. No one knew. I used to work at a distributing warehouse in Chicago for 15 years. I came up with my own system to be able to practically run that whole company. No one knew I had a literacy issue. But again, losing that job, I had to face harsh realities. And the United Way actually helped me overcome that. So again, the United Way, we're here to help anyone who is willing to accept the help, anyone who wants help, anyone, again, we're just trying to help you get leveled up. We're not trying to demean anybody. People look at it and say, well, you're putting people down, because I have come across that. Well, what are you guys doing? You're sitting here sharing your story, maybe to put somebody else down. I'm like, no, I'm telling you my story because we want to help you. We want to help you overcome the barriers. We are here to support you in any way possible. That's what they did with me, with my family, and I am truly grateful for the United Way.
Thank you, Lourdes, for telling that story. And guys, what we want you to know is there's no cost to this program. All we want you to do is share this with your parents, and not only parents, with your neighbors and whoever else you want to share this with. There's a story I'd like to tell too about a young lady that was involved with our Level Up program. This young lady was she had several children, and on the verge of being evicted from her apartment. She got into the Level Up program, and the program is a 24-month, close to 24-month program. The young lady completed the program before the 24 months was complete, and through that financial literacy piece and the navigators guiding her and assisting her, this young lady went from the possibility of being evicted from her home to buying, in the process of buying her own home. This program works, and all we want you guys to share with our community this program And so we can get more of our, our intent is to break the cycle of poverty. Now, this is not only an East Chicago issue. I mentioned Porter County, Jasper, Newton, Stark. This is an issue in Northwest Indiana, and we're starting here in East Chicago. But we want this this program to be known throughout our counties, our Northwest Indiana counties. And I know all of you guys, and you all are community builders. And I've known you for a length of time, and you know me for a length of time. So I know we're bringing this message to the right group of people. We're eventually going to take it to the city council, to the library board, but we want to share it with you first. So if there's any questions, Courtney or Lourdes or Sean or myself, please.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Is it time for questions now?
Yes.
Yes.
First, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the partnership. This program, I think, would benefit our McKinney-Vento children. You know who they are. The McKinney.
Our homeless
McKinney-
population?
our
Oh,
homeless
McKinney,
population.
yeah.
I didn't want to say homeless, but we have a homeless population in East Chicago. So I would like for you to, with Dr. Bonnier, get in touch with the social worker that handles that. And then I would like to see this be a part of the CTE program. Because I see some things here that students, when they leave high school, they're gonna need job training, employment career services. I mean, these are a lot of things here, financial wellness, because our children don't know, they think money grows on trees, so, you know, they have to be educated how to be financially aware of, I only make, 25, I'm gonna say, I don't even know what the minimum wage is, but when they graduate from high school and they get a minimum wage job, they need to know how to budget that, and it can be done. Because when I was in college, you know, we had to work in order to go to school, you know that, in order to even eat back in my day. We didn't have ATM cards like our parents just say, kids say, just stick it in there. No, you have to have money in that account. So I think that this would be a good part for our CTE program, and maybe I'm just overstepping Dr. Bonnier, but this would be something for them, and also our alternative school. Because we have so many students who think education is really not that important, but they don't really realize that it's a stepping stone to level up. So I would like to partnership with you guys, even with our alternative school programs, with the CTE program, and with our children that's homeless, because they really, you know, they don't have anywhere else to go but the North Township. So, you know, this is an alternative to help somebody get to the next level. And I appreciate this, and I think that this should be widespread with the library board. I know you've probably talked to them.
Not yet.
And all over Lake County, you know, and especially in East Chicago and all over. So I'm very excited to see this.
And you nailed it right on the head with one of those grants that we received that is specifically for East Chicago residents. It's for the youth, so 17 to 24. So that exact demographic that you're talking about is right out of high school, and go straight into working, don't think education is important, but they can still continue to excel. So you nailed it right on the head. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you. Because I always thought United Way just helped people that was in a fire. I mean, you know, that's all you see them, you know, it's a tornado or whatever. You didn't really think that the program is this in detail, you know. So I appreciate this, and I'm going to keep this, and I will be informed with you, keep in
They've been around
keep in
for a long
contact
time.
with you.
Yeah, one
I
of the.
might have to apply, Pete.
You might, oh, yeah, right. We're just asking you all to be ambassadors for us, share the information to all that, again, family, friends, neighbors. Just share this information. And if you want us to come back, we will. Do you have other questions?
Oh, I see you have the mentorship training.
We're partnering with Carpenters Union. We're partnering with the Federation of Labor Unions. We're in contact and conversations with those guys now. So if they're not ready to go to a 4-year school, there's a possibility they can go into an apprenticeship. Carpenters Union, Millwright Union, Bricklayers Unions, Steelworkers. So, it's not just a Level Up program. There's an extension to what we're doing.
Well, I would like to see this level up program right here in our alternative schools.
You want to
That's just me.
sure to get in touch with you?
Once we get it,
So my email and phone number is all over that ambassador kit. So please feel free to reach out. The ambassador kit, it has not only the requirements of what we do, it also has frequently asked questions. But my email is almost on every single page in there, so please feel free to use it. The yellow paper is the roadmap. Yes. So Level Up is very customized to our client's need. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Our program can range from 6 months to 24 months. It's whatever that client needs, whatever training they decide to do, however much hand-holding or pushing they need at the end of it as well. So that roadmap just kind of gives you an idea of how the process goes. The length of that is absolutely determined based on the client's need. And then that kind of half sheet, the card that talks about the navigator. A navigator is not just a case manager, they're more than that. They're that emotional support system. They're that rock, they're that go-to person, because unfortunately we find with our clients, they don't feel like they have that support system. And so we're there not only for guidance, but also support, and whatever else they may need along the way.
I can give you a lot of recommendations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for
you
this
all.
information.
Thank you,
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you. This is very helpful.
Okay, thank you for allowing us to be here.
Yes.
Ready to keep on rolling through? All right. All right, and then the final thing in this work session is just to go over our pre-board meeting. So we're just gonna go item through item on the agenda that's in front of you. And we'll start with any questions over the consent agenda.
This is open for the public.
No,
This
this is just for us.
I know it, but they still in there.
What? Oh, we're just going through yeah,
Oh, okay, then no,
Yeah.
it was open for us or what?
yeah.
Okay.
Or, if there's no questions or anything for the consent agenda, is there any comments on the, old business of the policies that we went over? Okay, which,
I'm
or-
sorry, Mr. President.
yes,
I was trying to finish up. This is the first time I'm having a chance to look at these documents.
Yeah, we just not getting this stuff,
I'm getting this.
so,
yeah,
Yeah, I personally think that if we can get these a couple of days in advance of the work session, it would benefit the board. I'm literally just going through this as speakers are introducing initiatives to the schools, and I really would like to, have a couple more days to digest this. To the personnel report, I do have some questions.
okay. Just a friendly reminder not to point out names.
Page 3,
then on page 3, so what are we on, the personnel?
personnel report.
Question on the,
Yeah, I don't recall how this all came about. I mean, I recall somewhat how it came about, but this fitness center supervisor would be reporting to who?
The athletic director. The athletic director.
I want to say that this position, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was almost to serve as a, like, strength and conditioning coach?
Correct.
And how does this impact, that we have another employee over there as well, so where does that? I don't recall, it's been a while.
So the staff member would report and work with the current person who is at the fitness center, but they're overall supervised by the athletic director.
Both are supervised by that person?
Correct.
Who's over there now? Who's in the person you're speaking of?
It's vacant. So right now, it is being staffed by PE teachers based on their availability.
Okay, okay, excuse me,
If you guys feel comfortable maybe having a discussion later on during executive session,
yeah,
would
because,
that be more appropriate for this topic?
yeah, because I want to know one thing. Was this position posted?
Yes.
It was posted? Okay.
Well, if it's okay with everybody, I don't want to get into, I also have a question or two on the personnel report, but I think it would be best to talk about it in an executive session.
When is
This,
that?
Right after,
Oh,
we
after
meet-
this?
yes.
Oh, Lord.
right.
Oh, Lord.
Well, how about we just do this?
Yes, we're
Um,
going to executive session now.
How about we move over to our new business, and Dr. Bournet can give us an update on some of the things that we have in new business. He can give us an overall.
Okay, let's see.
I'm sorry, I can't do that because maybe that's just me and I'm not being disrespectful. This is too much to consume just to have.
I'm just asking him to give us an overview of the items on the new business. It's just an overview.
So good evening again, trustees. Under new business, you have the first item, 7.01, is the approval of the first reading policy for the use of credit card. As you recall, this item was previously on last month's board meeting, and it has to come back as a new business item. I believe there is a policy meeting coming up this Monday, December 16th, where in addition to these in addition to this credit card policy, which will be discussed, we'll also be discussing the next batch of policies.
So on Monday, the policy committee is going to come back with this specific policy with the changes?
Correct.
Okay.
That's
Is that-
yeah, okay, I just got one question about this. Okay, did this ever get approved? That's what I have.
It
So-
went back to a first reading, I
Yes,
believe.
so, okay, so this is but so how do people have the credit cards then? How do they already have these credit cards if we have not approved this?
I want to say this
That's what I don't
is-
understand. I'm trying to get understanding of that.
So the credit card use existed prior to the coming back of this policy, which was before I began. Thank you. We did
I'm
not
confused
suspend
at.
the use of the credit cards in the absence of the approval of the policy because we had an existing policy.
Well, what was that? We never approved none of this.
So
I'm trying to get understanding. That's all.
there was an existing credit card policy
Yes.
prior to this one.
Okay,
You're correct, Dr. Bornay. There is an existing policy for credit cards.
okay,
This is an amendment
so,
to that policy.
well, the reason I'm getting confused about it, because me and Jesse was working on this, right, Jesse?
Right, that was the first.
So, right, and so, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we was working on this policy, and I don't think that it only passed the first reading. right, Jesse?
Yes.
So, so the credit, so I guess I'm a little confused here, so we didn't need to reassign any more credit cards? Is that what this is?
No, this,
I'm just confused
this
with,
is pretty much, the policy that was in last month's first reading, right? Or second reading.
but see, when me and Jesse did the policy, we only did the first reading, and we never did do no more reading on it at all. So I'm just trying to say is, okay, but by the people got the credit cards, was that supposed to, was that another policy that took place for them to have them credit cards? Or how did that take place?
I think
I
what-
think this all the confusion with me.
I think, but I think what
'Cause we-
Dr. Bournet was mentioning was that we already had a policy on credit cards, and then this is us just cleaning up that policy.
But we never did approve it.
Well, there was an existing policy prior to you even coming on
Okay.
board.
Oh, okay, so that's what I'm,
Yes.
that's what I'm, okay, because me and Jesse, so by it being one already there existing, why are we doing another?
I,
Oh, we amending
ISBA
it?
or the.
Is what is we
not
doing here?
the State Board
Based
of
on the
Accounts.
audit.
Yeah, because of the audit, right.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, so,
And still out of compliance,
right,
with that.
You gotta talk to the mic.
right, can y'all hear me? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just confused now, because it's been a while. I know me and Jesse was working on this.
And I'm saying we're still out of compliance, Mr. President. I'm on this policy committee, and I don't have a problem with the policies, but before we get to any kind of reading, there's some things that have to be done by different board members. Credit cards, we're still under the old policy, should be turned in with all receipts this is what I'm asking, prior to the next board meeting. So if you have a credit card, would you please turn it back in, like the policy asked you to, sign it back in, bring your receipts in, so we won't have this problem, because State Board of Accounts will see it again. So I'm asking one more time, bring in your receipts. If not, I'm sorry, Dr. Boyne, I'm not overstepping you or the Finance Committee, but I'm not gonna be in the paper because of credit card. So if you have the credit card, turn it in by Monday with your receipts, because if I have to go to the CFO and have everybody's credit card pulled, then we're gonna have a problem. So anybody who has a credit card, I'm repeating it one more time, anybody has a credit card and receipts from the time you had it, because you should not have had it in your possession all of that time. The past policy says you sign it out, you sign it back in with your receipts. So please, before Monday, have that done. If not, then I will go to the CFO and ask her to pull everybody's credit card.
Thank you, we appreciate that.
So we can get this credit card thing straightened out.
So anybody have any questions on the actual policy?
On the actual policy,
Yes,
on the credit card policy,
yes.
Yeah, where is it at? We got it? Do we have it
the
in our
actual
package?
credit card policy was just stating, basically, what we were trying to get some understanding is the credit card should not be in the possession of a board member all the time. Not all the time. They should not have that liberty of having East Chicago school credit card in their wallet or in their purses at all times. Because we have to account for every dime. That's the problem with the State Board of Accounts. There was no receipts to comply with the spending. So that was my only problem. I had no problems with the credit card policy. It's just that you have to follow the guidelines. When you check the credit card out for your conference, bring the credit card back in and turn it back in. Why would you want to carry the East Chicago school credit card around with you all the time anyway? No other district does that.
Mr. President,
I don't want to hear that about
Rodriguez.
what somebody else does. I'm talking about what I understand, I know. Other districts don't even have credit cards. So you can keep that comment to yourself. All I'm saying is to keep us from being audited again, we have to amend this credit card policy. If not, we have to answer to State Board of Accounts. Am I correct, Trustee Gibson?
Yeah, from what I read.
Okay, didn't we just
had
sign
a-
off on this the
we
other
just
day?
signed off on it the other day.
Thank
Yes.
you. So now, that's my only problem. I don't have a problem with you having a credit card, but why should it be in your own possession at all times? If you're not going to any type of conference or any type of professional development, why do you have a credit card? You sign it in, you sign it out. You bring your receipts in. What's so hard about that?
Okay, all right.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I know no board member has a credit card assigned to them at this point in time, just for clarity's sake. But also for clarity's sake, I've asked repeatedly for the finding of the audit. I want to read it myself. We've been talking about this for weeks now, and I've asked for it for weeks. I've yet to see the audit finding. I want to ask one more time as chairman of the policy committee, I think it'd be appropriate to actually see the audit that my colleagues are referring to.
I do have the audit, and I will email it to you.
I've asked that repeatedly.
Yeah.
And
We got it the other day.
CFO emailed it to everybody the other day.
Right.
I did not get that.
Well, she did. She
I'm
emailed it.
asking Dr. Bernay for it.
Doesn't matter. She still emailed it. I don't know what the big deal is about this credit card. What is somebody's livelihood?
You're the one that's going on and on about the credit card.
You ain't gonna write. I'm going on and on. But have you turned yours in
Yeah, mine is turned in
with your receipts?
with my receipts.
Okay, then you
All
don't have
right.
nothing to worry about.
Okay,
Could move on.
yeah, please. We'll go with the Mozzie education renewal.
Yes. So also before the board as item 7.02 is the approval to renew Mozzie Education. Mozzie Education is one of our partners, which we use to help us support the management of our grants with the IDOE. So that is a renewal. As all other programs or vendors and other partners of solutions, we will be evaluating those on an annual basis. Questions regarding Mozzie Education?
Yeah, I got a lot of questions, but we're gonna have time to discuss this when I go through this, because I don't understand. Do we still need these people? That's what I don't understand, because we just hired somebody, right?
That is correct.
Thing is, my understanding is with the Mozzie or Maisie or whatever, I don't have no use for them, me personally, none at all. Because from what I was hearing, he came in here supposed to been doing, overseeing Mrs. Castro and the dollars and what have you not, and whoever else. But we did have a meeting with this person here, Nathan, I think that's his name.
Yes.
And the meeting was called under interim, Mr. Mitchell, when he was here. And when I realized from some of the conversation, the dollars that we did not utilize or used, he did not recommend those dollars to be spent on trying to get those dollars back to where they should have came from and be used in the purpose of what they was for. He in turn came in and showed these people how they could get these dollars and put it in their pockets and say they did all this work. This is what some of the things, the behavior that I've experienced with this company here, Nathan. Now, we have just hired someone to deal with the title dollars, am I correct?
Correct.
And then I don't think that we've never had a problem with anybody entitled. Joel, you can answer that because you've been on the board for a good period of time. Did you ever have to hire anybody to deal with the title dollars other than this person here?
I would have to go back and check.
Okay, I don't think that they did, but I think that we need to,
I kind of share Trustee Gibson's Gibson King's concerns. Can you give us a breakdown of what this renewal plan is?
So this will be an extension of the current contract, which is to review, support in terms of submitting the pre-application, the application, as well as amendments, and then the monitoring features in terms of supporting that office.
So it's just a renewal of the old
Correct.
And for how long is this renewal?
That, I believe, is 1 year. Let me check.
Because the ESSER dollars is already.
Yes,
spent.
so through June 2025.
Okay.
So less than 1 year, just to the end of this fiscal year.
I know that we said earlier that we still need some time to digest the information, but does anybody have any overarching questions on the renewal?
Mr. President.
Yes.
Excuse me. The date that Dr. Bernay was reading, excuse me, is correct, but it also goes on to say ad hoc and as needed support is available July 1, 2025, at a rate of $150 an hour. And project-based fees can be provided. I'm okay with having them, go through the remainder of the year. I just don't want to see this extended beyond June 30th. So Attorney Snow, if you could take a look at, it's just under the pricing, and there's that paragraph right beneath it. If you'd like to take a look at it. I do think they've offered some value, and with whomever the new person is in that office, I think they could use the help of this group, at least through the remainder of the school year. But beyond that, I'd hope that we get that person adequately trained on the deadlines and procedures. So that's just my thought.
Mr. President, also to my understanding, I kind of remember this particular company, when they came in, because we had title dollars we were giving back because they weren't being spent.
Right.
Mozzie has a really good relationship with the state, as well as the State Board of Accounts to help us clean out a lot of those edges. So I sort of agree with Trustee Gomez as far as hour-by-hour basis until July 1st, until we make sure that all our Ts are crossed and Is are dotted.
Yeah, because the ESSER dollars is gone, so I don't see no use for it.
All right. Well, we can go ahead with the next one, 7.03, Kirigash Preschool.
Yes. The item 7.03 is from a community partner to rent or lease Kirigash School Gymnasium for approximately a month to the end of January for an outside basketball program.
And anybody have any comments, questions on the Kirigash Gymnasium?
President,
Yes.
I don't have an issue with it, but the issue I do have is that we've had other sports groups, and I could say Little League more specifically, request the use of our gyms, and they're in town, and they can't seem to get to this level of getting it approved. I'd like to see us do more than basketball here. Nothing wrong with basketball, big fan, but I think our kids need more opportunities. So I'm okay with this. I'm not okay with us seemingly denying opportunities for our own kids to participate in other sports.
President, I'm not saying I'm against it. So what about Lincoln, playground? Have we discussed that because of the glass and all of that that was out there, and they're close to the highways and there's no fence? So I'm not against that gymnasium, but I think that Lincoln School needs some attention also when it comes to playground for our children when doing recess.
I don't understand this. Approval to use Kerry Gard's pre-K. Who using it? Why is this on? Oh. I was like,
That was,
who using the gym?
So if I understand your question, Trustee Gibson King,
Yeah.
the gym is being used when our own students or staff are not using the gym. So that's why you'll see the hours are from 5 PM to 9 PM.
I don't see no hours. I just see, I don't understand this. This ain't making no sense to me. Approval to use Kerry Gosh pre-K school gymnasium. So they have to get approval to use their own gym, their
No,
own?
no, no, this is an outside group who wants to use the facilities.
Oh, well, then they need to have the name down here. Who is the outside group?
The outside group is the Indiana Rough Riders Basketball
So we
Organization.
need to have that on here. You got me thinking that they got the,
it's in our, somewhere in our board
oh, it
packet.
is? Oh, okay, well, okay, I got you.
Okay.
Mr. President, I want to say I apologize because I haven't had a chance to read this.
Yeah, don't
I'm
chance to read it
thinking
either.
that-
That's why I'm
well,
asking all these questions and things.
Agenda is saying, approval to use Kerry Gosh preschool, and I'm getting all upset because I'm worried about Lincoln Playground, so, but I still put that out there. Okay.
All right, the next one is the approval of snow removal. Go ahead, Dr. Bourget.
So as you're aware, we did an RFP for services for snow removal for the 24-25 school year. This is the vendor who was awarded the bid, Calumet Waste and Recycling Incorporated.
And then we just heard about the gun safety, and then
President.
yes.
I'm sorry, on the other one. If I'm reading this correctly, it looks like it's, this can be a 2-year contract?
Checking.
Got to get better microphones. This looks
Are we
like
talking about the snow removal?
Yes,
Yes.
it says 2025 through 2027,
Yes.
so it's a 2-year contract?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, who's, okay.
Ready for the next one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the,
I don't even see. Okay.
So gun safety is obviously what Prosecutor Carter and his office presented earlier during the work session. That pilot needs to be approved by the board for Harrison School. And then 7.06 is the approval of the top 20. It is an amendment to the original MOU, which was approved earlier this school year. Specifically, the changes to the amendment is now that top 20 will be working with our Kerry Gosh students in the pre-K.
okay. Is there any questions on the, okay. Well, with that being said, then I think our work session is over, and then we're transitioned to our executive session.
I don't even see in